It's hard to believe the season's already dying down, but that's the nature of seasonal anime for you. Just when things are getting good, you're smacked with an abrupt or unresolved ending to frost your balls. Though I have to admit, spring certainly lived up to its namesake with a bunch of lighthearted shows and plenty of fun to go around. And the issues I had with some of the anime out this season were honestly not that big to the point that I adamantly hated any of the shows out. So let's get down to it. Gloss over some thoughts and slap some meaningless numbers on these like people actually care about my opinion. Overall, I was pretty pleased with this season. There was a good spread of enjoyable content in varying genres to keep me interested. More than a few comedies out this season were actually funny, the action shows were decently solid in terms of animation and plot, and the drama shows were engaging with good characters. I did a video on Hitori Bocchi already, but it's definitely a highlight for me. The characters were all fun, had their own personalities, and played off one another in unique ways. Not to mention it was just plain cute. Not much more I can say about it I haven't already. So if you're looking for a cute character comedy, watch this. Kimetsu no Yaiba actually made me rethink my opinion on Ufotable for a brief moment. As someone who cares a lot about artistic style in their anime, this one was dripping with it. Not to mention the pacing for this series is spot on and feeding information at a steady, constant rate, while still nailing the combat. Hype mixed with emotion from a studio known for their animation easily makes this a no-brainer to recommend. Dororo's second half had some animation and plot slumps, but still kept me interested and hyped for it each and every week. Speaking of style, Carole and Tuesday was my crack for this season. I absolutely could not get enough of this show. I'm aware that some may not like its slow pace or meandering plot, but if you like great animation, quirky characters who know how to play off one another, a setting dripping with atmosphere, and some catchy music, then this one is for you. This show knows how to ride its highs right into low points to make the characters more enjoyable, and I just found this one to be a nice, complete package for what I was looking for, without me knowing I was looking for it. So I had a comedy, an action show, and a character-driven drama already as highlights, so why not a show that had all three? Sarazanmai is a drug-fueled hallucination of a series, with likable, three-dimensional characters, a quirky sense of humor, and art direction up the wazoo. While I liked this show, a lot mind you, I'm probably this show's target demographic with its weird visuals and sexual metaphors begging to be analyzed. Weird and entertaining pretty much all the time. Even shows I would consider in the middle of the road this season were entertaining while watching them. Just none of these are things that will jump to mind when telling people what to check out, especially a few weeks down the line when they drift into obscurity. Midara na Aochan wa Benkyou ga Dekinai was a cute little romance series with some solid comedy. The pervy humor and ecchi situations are certainly a draw for some, but what was the bread and butter for me was Ao's interpretation of the situations she was in. A girl confused over a boy liking her was just what this series needed to explore its romance, and if you want a quick time sink, check it out. One Punch Man Season 2 was average. Yeah, that hurts to say. I'm sure everyone's sick of hearing it, but it merits repeating. The physical construction of this series, animation, shot composition, and pacing was just not up to snuff. It even felt like Saitama's voice actor was phoning it in at times, as his dull monotone felt completely disinterested compared to last season, when he could at least muster something to emote. That's probably the voice direction though. Either way, it's still One Punch Man, and if you're invested, give it a watch. RobiHachi was a bit of a surprise. I wasn't expecting much going in, and it wasn't knocking it out of the park with its humor, but it was still an enjoyable little gay romp through some varied settings. Then again, I'm a fan of space anime. Nothing serious, just two buds hanging out in space and getting wrapped up in some hijinks along the way. a mild recommendation for sci-fi comedy. Bokutachi wa Benkyou ga Dekinai was okay for an ecchi comedy series. I wasn't blown away with the first few episodes, but the girls were cute and some of the jokes landed. That was basically the path the show followed for the rest of the season. If you're into girls embarrassed about liking a guy while also ending up in the most sexually suggestive situations possible, all for someone to happen by at the most inopportune time, give it a watch. If ecchi comedy isn't your thing, it's an easy pass. The low-hanging fruit this season weren't exactly entirely bad. I've watched seasons with worse, to be honest. But still, these were shows I'd probably tell people to skip if they mentioned an interest in watching them. Mostly because they're a waste of time. Nande Koko ni Sensei ga was basically Bokuben with 10 times the ecchi and 100th the personality. If you find adult women with tits and asses needing less coaxing out of their clothes than a desperate virgin at an orgy entertaining, this might appeal to you. But if you're looking for some actual comedy besides, holy shit, I can see your tits, and you didn't mean for that, then it's not worth your time. Absolutely one note and horribly, unnecessarily censored, because there's an uncensored version out there. There's still just nothing on display in it. Maybe the staff thought the censors were funny. Fairy Gone was bland. Most people felt that way. I'm not breaking any new ground here. The show has some good ideas, but it's more bogged down in world building than Tolkien off his meds. It took this show about 9 episodes to get me to somewhat care about things happening. And even then, it wasn't enough. Cheap feels, too much exposition, and little payoff for the time investment. This could have used a few more passes on the script before hitting the production circuit. Joshi Kausei was a dull, gimmicky comedy show that I'll only tell people to watch because it's short. 3-minute episodes work to this show's benefit. Nothing else to say, really. Cute girls doing cute things with no talking. And I guess I'll throw Shoumetsu Toshi up here because I accidentally dropped it, simply because I couldn't be arsed. I watched 2 episodes and simply forgot, despite seeing it there every single week. Dropped because I didn't know what was happening and didn't care. Maybe I'll give it a shot now that the season's winding down, but still. Animation this time around was solid in terms of quality. Sure, there was that one episode of Dororo where literally what the fuck happened? It's okay, the last few episodes redeemed it. But PA Works had some good character designs that I may not personally like, but I will admit they are detailed. Fairy Gone looks good, for the most part. Kimetsu no Yaiba was a stunning display of what Ufotable can do when not relying on CG for everything. Except when they did. And Hitori Bocchi reminded me that even 4-coma shows can have personality in their animation. Hell, even Aochan with its short runtime managed to squeeze in some excellent color and visually appealing shots. That's pretty much unheard of for a half-length anime, so props where it's due. Even if shows like Joshi Kausei were web series tier despite airing on television, Nande Koko ni Sensei ga looked like it stepped right out of the early 2000s, and One Punch Man looked like the animation staff called in sick, making the interns do all the work. So with all said and done, I liked Spring 2019. It was a solid season with plenty of highlights, and lows that didn't suck complete ass. But to put the final bullet in this thing's head, let's throw some arbitrary numbers on these series so people can argue with me in the comments about how I don't know shit. Fairy Gone was easily a 5 out of 10 for its crap pacing. Carole and Tuesday is a 9 out of 10 for a sweet story, and a show packed to the brim with personality. Shoumetsu Toshi is a 2 out of 10 for being another confusing, dull mystery that failed to grab my attention. Sarazanmai is an 8 out of 10 for reminding me what it's like to do acid while writing. Midara na Aochan wa Benkyou ga Dekinai is a 7 out of 10 because it's cute and sweet. Bokutachi wa Benkyou ga Dekinai is a 6 out of 10 for being an okay pervy comedy show with some killer tits, I mean cute girls. RobiHachi was a 7 out of 10 for being a fun, lighthearted space adventure that's packed with references and was a relaxing watch. Kimetsu no Yaiba was a 9 out of 10 for being a well-rounded package with good pacing that had me excited each week. Hitori Bocchi no Marumaru Seikatsu is an 8 out of 10 for cute characters I actually like on a personal level that can make me laugh. One Punch Man Season 2 was a 6 out of 10 with me trying to give it as much benefit of the doubt as possible. Since ignoring Season 1, it's still a pretty average show in terms of presentation and comedy. Dororo's second half was an 8 out of 10 for a dip in pacing and quality, but still an overall enjoyable experience. Joshi Kausei was a 5 out of 10 for just being there. Nande Koko ni Sensei ga is 4 What's It Even Matter, The Universe Will Die One Day points out of 10 for being exactly what you'd expect from a borderline porn comedy and doing nothing to subvert that. So I guess I feel better, now that my inner pedant was able to classify some shows numerically, and just in time for next season to come out. With spring dead, let's look forward to summer, in hopes that it can keep me as interested as this season did. Or, in the very least, not fuck it up. Hey, you made it to the end of the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and do all the other YouTube stuff because that really helps me out. Thanks for watching.